Good evening, everyone. I'm calling our City Council meeting on this beautiful Thursday, November 16th, to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Miller.
Present.
Councilor Anderbois.
Present.
Councilwoman Anthony.
Present.
Councilman Espinal.
Present.
Senior Deputy Majority Leader Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilwoman Graves. Deputy Majority Leader Harris.
Present.
Councilwoman Peterson. Council President Pro Tempore Pichardo.
Present.
Councilor Royas is absent. Councilwoman Ryan is absent. Majority Whip Sanchez is absent. Majority Leader Taylor.
Here.
Councilwoman Ana Vargas is absent. Councilman Oscar Vargas.
Present.
Councilor Royas. You have 12 present and 3 absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. May I ask everyone, both councilors and our guests, to please rise for the invocation. We have a special guest this evening, Pastor Sandra Miller from the Shekinah Family Worship Center. Thank you, Pastor Miller, for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. To the Honorable Mayor Brett Smiley, to Councilor Rachel Miller, our President, to Deputy Majority Leader Councilman Mary Kay Harris, thank you for inviting me. To the members of the City Council of every district and ward, thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. I have great respect for the polity and process of our local government, and I consider it a privilege to lead the invocation tonight. Will you bow your heads, let us pray. God of justice, God of mercy and grace, we thank you for this day and for the blessings of family, friends, and neighbors. We especially thank you for the people in our city who have been entrusted with the responsibility for making decisions that affect the dignity, the safety, and the well-beings of all our communities, neighborhoods, family, and residents of our beautiful capital city. Give us the courage to set aside our differences, guide us with your wisdom, and help us to speak with honesty, kindness, and clarity as we work together to make Providence a place that everyone can be proud to call home. Fill us with your vision, O God. Guide us to live by your vision, working to build the beloved community where everyone is welcome, all are valued, power is shared, and all our children know wholeness and well-being. Father, guide us in everything in your wisdom and love. Accept the prayers we offer for our nation also on tonight. Father, through Jesus Christ we pray, and all God's people say, amen. God bless you.
Thank you, Pastor Miller. Please continue standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilwoman Peterson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of
Madam Clerk, please read item 3.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the reading of item 3 and move approval.
Second, Madam President.
The motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Madam Clerk, please read item 4 into the record.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the readings of items 4 through 6.
Second, Madam President.
The motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please note item 4 through 6 as received.
So noted.
And please read item 7 into the record.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the reading of items 7 and 8 and pass for the second time on a roll call vote.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Miller.
Aye.
Councilor Anderbois.
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony.
Aye.
Councilman Espinal. Aye. Senior Deputy Majority Leader Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilwoman Graves.
Aye.
Deputy Majority Leader Harris.
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson.
Aye.
Council President Pro Tempore Pichardo.
Aye.
Councilor Royas.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryan is absent. Majority Whip Sanchez is absent. Majority Leader Taylor.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ana Vargas is absent. Councilman Oscar Vargas.
Aye.
You have 12 ayes, 3 absent. The motion carries. The matters are passed for the second time on a roll call vote.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please read item 9 into the record.
Madam President,
Majority Leader.
motion to waive the reading of items 9 and 10.
Second, Madam President.
The motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Councilwoman Anderbaugh.
Thank you so much, Council President. I rise because I almost forgot that's what we're supposed to do. Just to express, obviously, strong support for item number 9. I'm really excited about this item. So this, it's such a boring name, but what it would do would require all municipal buildings in the city of Providence to be carbon neutral by the date 2040, including an immediate no new gas hookups for any municipal buildings effective upon passage. This was something we worked really collaboratively on with the Climate Jobs Coalition, as well as across various city agencies to make sure that this was something that was feasible and doable as long as we had a solid goal in place, which we do. There'll be plenty of time for comment and public hearing. We'll be planning to have a public hearing hopefully in January to move this through, but now is really the time to do this. We're investing so much in our school buildings and other municipal buildings right now. There's so much federal funding for these types of things, and it would be silly for Providence to leave that kind of money on the table and continue to be connected to, or to not make the necessary investments we need in a zero carbon future. I also especially just want to thank Chris Brown on our team for helping with this. It's been a real journey to get this introduced and to make sure that we had all the necessary pieces in place to make it something that was both aggressive but achievable. And so just really want to thank Chris, who I think is behind me, or she's somewhere. There she is. Okay. But thank you all so much.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Further discussion on items 9 and 10? Councilman Vargas.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam President, I rise in favor of this ordinance. That I want to say thank you to all the people who's been working on it. It's a huge issue that we have in the city of Providence. We call rats or four legs, and we're trying to have a fight against them. And by creating this ordinance means like any building that has been closed, going to be demolished or remodeled, we request to be bait 30 days before so the little animals can die before they go into somebody else's house, and to avoid more population in these kind of little animals that we have. We call them rats. All right. So thank you very much for the support of their colleagues, and I think it's a good ordinance to start working on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Further discussion on items 9 and 10? All right, Madam Clerk, please refer item 9 to the Special Committee on Environment and Resiliency, item 10 to the Committee on Ordinances.
So noted.
And read item 11.
Madam President,
Majority Leader.
motion to waive the reading of items 11 through 13, pass on a voice vote, and have the clerk read item 13 into record.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Councilwoman?
Thank you. Forgive me, I have to rise. Before we read it into motion, wanted to take a minute to just give a little bit of context with regards to number 13. For decades, the city of Providence and its constituents of color have fallen prey to continued discriminatory practices in lending and supports for homeownership. We can see as far back as the 1930s, where we can see maps that were designated by color green for best neighborhoods and red for neighborhoods deemed hazardous. Federal laws like the Fair Housing Act were put forward in an effort to correct continued discriminatory practices after Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated. But herein, we continue to see modern-day practices aimed at limiting the creation of generational wealth for our Rhode Island's struggling urban neighborhoods continue to be disproportionately targeted for predatory lending during the housing boom in the mid-2000s. And when the foreclosure crisis hit in 2008, these same neighborhoods were the most severely impacted. Decades of public policies and institutional practices like restrictive covenants, Redlining, blockbusting, exclusionary zoning, racial steering, and predatory lending have left people of color with lower wealth and weaker credit histories than white Americans. The effects of past discrimination are evident today in segregated neighborhoods and lower levels of home ownership among communities of color in the state. Today, it manifests itself in a, quote, complex set of interconnected factors that limit access to many societal services and benefits, including education, employment, housing, and healthcare. We saw it again in 2014 with then Sovereign Bank and now once again with Washington Trust today. To say that we've moved past this is just a simple fallacy, and my resolution is an opportunity for us as counselors, those who are called to represent our communities as best as we possibly can, to take to task Washington Trust and work with us to learn and support our neighborhoods most underserved. Washington Trust's consent order to work within the state's urban core provides a guideline as to how to work with communities in many neighborhoods like the ones in our city. But I stand here to make a solid ask. Go beyond the consent decree and use us as counselors, the stewards of our communities, to learn more about how to support them. I call upon Washington Trust to understand our why and use us as conduits to creating better pathways for our most vulnerable. I welcome you to see the impact of the work that you do in my community and share the impact of creating equity. This good faith request is an effort to extend an opportunity for partnership in hopes of giving our neighborhoods and our neighbors all opportunities to thrive.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any further discussion, items 11 through 13? Madam Clerk, please read item 13.
Item 13 is a resolution calling on the Washington Trust Company to partner with the City of Providence to best implement its expansion by working directly with underserved community organizations. Whereas on September 7, 2023, the Washington Trust Company settled with the United States Department of Justice, agreeing to pay $9 million to resolve allegations of lending discrimination in the form of redlining in Rhode Island's communities of color. And whereas redlining is an illegal practice in which lenders avoid providing credit services to individuals living in communities because of race, color, or national origin. And whereas the settlement with the United States Department of Justice alleges that from 2016 through 2021, the Washington Trust Company failed to provide mortgage lending services to majority Black and Hispanic neighborhoods in the state of Rhode Island. And whereas the Washington Trust Company has never opened a branch in majority Black or Hispanic neighborhoods in the state of Rhode Island. And whereas the Washington Trust Company relied on mortgage loan officers working out of majority white areas as the primary source for generating loan applications. And whereas the Washington Trust Company failed to conduct outreach, marketing, and advertising of its mortgage services to compensate for its lack of branches and presence in majority Black and Hispanic areas. And whereas, under the proposed consent order, the Washington Trust Company has agreed to invest at least $7 million in a loan subsidy fund to increase access to home mortgages, home improvement, home refinance, and home equity loans, and lines of credit for residents of majority Black and Hispanic neighborhoods. And whereas the Washington Trust Company has also agreed to spend $1 million on partnerships with community-based organizations in impacted Providence neighborhoods to provide services related to credit, financial education, home ownership, and foreclosure counseling that will serve to increase residential mortgage credit access for residents of those neighborhoods. And whereas the Washington Trust Company has additionally agreed to spend $1 million for advertising outreach, consumer financial education, and credit counseling focused on the affected neighborhoods. And whereas the Washington Trust Company has agreed to open 2 new branches in the affected neighborhoods, ensuring that they are appropriately staffed. And whereas the Washington Trust Company has agreed to employ a director of community lending to oversee this expansion. And now therefore be it resolved that the City of Providence calls upon the Washington Trust Company to work in partnership with the city to best implement this expansion by working directly with community-based organizations within the city. And be it further resolved that the City of Providence condemns in the strongest possible terms the illegal practice of redlining, which has caused irreparable harm to countless families in the state of Rhode Island and the rest of the United States of America. And be it further resolved that upon passage, certified copies of this resolution be transmitted to the Honorable Mayor of Providence, the Chairman of the Board of Directors, and Chief Executive Officer for Washington Trust Bank Corp. Incorporated, and the Providence Director of Community Development.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All in favor, items 11 through 13.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motions pass. Madam Clerk, please read item 14.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the reading of items 14 through 17 and pass for the first time on a roll call vote.
Second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Miller,
Aye.
Councilor Anderbaugh,
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony,
Aye.
Councilman Espinal, Senior Deputy Majority Leader Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilwoman Graves, Deputy Majority Leader Harris,
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson,
Aye.
Council President Pro Tempore Pichardo,
Aye.
Councilor Royas,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryan is absent, Majority Whip Sanchez is absent, Majority Leader Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ana Vargas is absent, Councilman Oscar Vargas.
Aye.
You have 12 ayes, 3 absent. The motion carries. The matters are passed for the first time on a roll call vote.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item 18, please.
Madam President,
Majority Leader.
motion to waive the reading of items 18 through 21, pass on a voice vote and refer back to the Board of Contract and Supply.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion on items 18 through 21. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The matters pass. Please refer items 18 through 21 back to the Board of Contract and Supply.
So noted.
And read item 22 into the record.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the reading of item 22 and receive and approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions or any no votes? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, please note 22 as received, and the motion passes.
So noted.
And item 23.
Madam President,
Majority Leader.
motion to waive the reading of items 23 through 28 and pass for the first time on a roll call vote.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on items 23 through 28? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President Miller,
Aye.
Councilor Anderbaugh,
Aye.
Councilwoman Anthony,
Aye.
Councilman Espinal,
Aye.
Senior Deputy Majority Leader Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilwoman Graves,
Aye.
Deputy Majority Leader Harris,
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson,
Aye.
Council President Pro Tempore Pichardo,
Aye.
Councilor Royas,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryan is absent, Majority Whip Sanchez is absent, Majority Leader Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ana Vargas is absent, Councilman Oscar Vargas.
Aye.
You have 12 ayes, 3 absent. The motion carries. The matters are passed for the first time on a roll call vote.
Thank you. Please read item 29 into the record.
Madam President,
Majority Leader.
motion to waive the reading of items 29 through 35.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, items 29 through 35? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the motions pass. Please refer items 29 through 30 to the Committee on Ordinances. 31 severally referred to the Committee on Claims and Pending Suits. 32 and 33, note as received. 34, please refer to the Committee on Finance. And 35, as received.
So noted.
Item 36.
Madam President,
Majority Leader Taylor.
motion to waive the reading of item 36 and pass on a voice vote.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. Item 37, please.
Madam President,
Majority Leader.
motion to waive the reading of item 37 and pass on a unanimous rising vote.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. Thank you.
And Madam President,
Majority Leader.
before we adjourn tonight, I would like to wish Councilman Pedro Espinal a birthday. Well, happy birthday. For his birthday is
I'm really humble and surprised.
his birthday is coming up on Sunday, November 19th, and I have a note here, but I think it's wrong. It says he's going to be 25 years old. I think somebody wrote that wrong.
Just flip it the other way.
Oh, that's what it is, okay. But if you could all, we got a citation here, we'd like to take a
come on,
picture
let's-
afterwards for you, with you. And if you could
Thank
all, I'll
you.
start it off. Is that okay, Deputy? Is that okay? I'll start? So,
Continue,
happy
Majority.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Councilman Espinal. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, that was,
So I'd like to wish you a happy birthday and many more.
Yes.
thank you so much.
Yes.
If there's no further business, I'd like to adjourn in memory of Dolores Fonseca and Beri Bay Heglatsemi.
Second, Madam President.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So we are adjourned. I'd like to invite everyone to just take a very short 5-minute break to allow the clerks to finish the meeting. And then tonight we have a very special recognition of our veterans organized by our veteran on the council, President Pro Tem Pichardo. So please, let's just take like a 5-minute recess and then please come back and join us.
Real quick, Madam President, if we could all get a picture with the councilman before that starts. And I'd also like to wish everybody
trying to do it
a
all
happy
with your little
Thanksgiving,
self.
happy
Thank
and
you.
safe.
Happy Thanksgiving to us all. Thank you.
Right. Just come back later.
To this part 2 of our meeting. I really want to thank our guests who are here this evening and the President Pro Tem for having, as far as in my knowledge, so in the last 5 years, our first veteran celebration as a council. It's also the launch of the very first special commission on Veterans Affairs that President Pro Tem is spearheading. And so I just want to thank all of you for being here tonight as we think and we find ways to continue to honor the service of veterans who live in Providence, and as we have conversations about all the things that we talk about, right, like housing, education, employment, that we continue to prioritize those who have served our country. So thank you for being here tonight. I am so pleased to turn it over to President Pro Tem, who will be the Master of Ceremonies for this evening.
Thank you, President Rachel Miller, for welcoming everyone and welcome friends and veterans, families, to the Providence City Council. Today, as the President mentioned, is the first time in recent years that the Providence City Council or in City Hall we celebrate Veterans Day. As we all know that in the month of November, we kick it off by honoring not just only a day, but also a month, as has been said at the national level. Today's program you will hear from a couple of people that are experienced military members. And before that, again, welcome. At this time, I would like to call the Providence Police Honor Guard to present the colors. This time we'll have Ken Doyen play taps. Thank you. Thank you. You may have a seat. At this time, just wanted to once again welcome everyone. As a veteran myself of 22 years in the Air Force Air National Guard, as a retired Master Sergeant, welcome to the Providence City Council. Today, it is our privilege to have you here in our chambers. First, to recognize the importance of recognizing veterans, their family, and those who serve overseas, and when they come home, that they feel that they have a home. It is important that we show gratitude and appreciation for their sacrifice and service to their country. Veterans have put their lives on the line to protect the freedoms and rights that we often take for granted. By honoring them, we acknowledge their bravery and selflessness. Secondly, we recognize veterans who, take these times to provide awareness about their challenges when they're serving. Welcome, Lieutenant Governor. When they're serving overseas, when they're serving within our country, but also when they're done serving their time and as veterans. It helps to instill our patriotism and within our society to make sure that we acknowledge their sacrifice. And we encourage future generations to appreciate the importance of serving their country and being active citizens. Lastly, we recognize that veterans and those who serve can also help bridge that gap between our civilian world and the military communities, the mothers, the grandparents, and also those who they serve under. It fosters the understanding, the empathy, and the connection between those who have served and those who have not. It promotes our more inclusive community and a diverse community within the military and armed forces, and also in our community. I know in the city of Providence, we have a tremendous number of people who have served. You know, oftentimes I would drive through our neighborhoods and our streets and would see older gentlemen who have served in war, in Korea, in Vietnam, but more often we see young people with veterans plates. And oftentimes we know that they are facing challenges in our own local neighborhood. So the Providence City Council recognized this, and today we honor their service and sacrifice and the members of the armed forces and veterans who have sacrificed themselves for the defense of our country. You know, we as a recent City Council created a special commission for Veterans Affairs, the purpose of which to be very clear, to coordinate, facilitate, manage some Veterans Affairs in the city of Providence. I think that we as Providence, as a capital city, take it for granted at times that we have our State House in the capital city. Ceremonies take place at the State House, and that Veterans Home is, the Veteran Services are in the capital city. But I think that we, as a city, need to continue to service and be mindful of our veterans as we move forward. Now I'd like to recognize some of those members who are present today that make up the committee. First of all, our Majority Leader, Councilman Majority Leader James Taylor, who is the future Vice Chairman. We have Council Member, Jasim Yarn, Director of the Rhode Island Office of Veteran Services, or his designee. Kenneth Reese, Commander of the American Legion Post 69, Rhode Island Black Veterans. Joseph Iannucci, retired Master Sergeant, Air Force Air National Guard, who also serves as our Providence Patrolman in the Providence Police, and more to come. Today, we are joined by the Lieutenant Governor, Sabina Matos. Yes, please. I also would like to recognize my colleagues who are in this chamber today, starting off with our President, President Rachel Miller. Thank you for your support, and thank you for being here. Our Majority Leader, Jim Taylor. Our Councilwoman, Mary Kay Harris. Justin Royas, Councilman from Ward 4. John Goncalves, Ward 1. Shelley Peterson from Ward 14. Ms. Althea Graves from Ward 12, who's also joined by Mr. Graves, who is a veteran. Thank you for your service. Councilman Vargas from Ward 15, of course, how can I forget? And Councilman Pedro Espinal from Ward 10. Thank you for being here. And thank you to the Providence Police and the Honor Guard for being here. At this time, I would like to call the Lieutenant Governor, Sabina Matos, who is no stranger to this chamber and to all of us. She's been a champion of our communities and here in the city of Providence, and now she's been Lieutenant Governor, caring for the state of Rhode Island, but most importantly also being a strong advocate for veterans. With no more of a long, lengthy resume, I introduce you our Lieutenant Governor, Sabina Matos.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pro Tem, for this invitation and this opportunity to come here and celebrate our veterans here in City Hall. Thank you for the initiative for recognizing the sacrifices of the men and women that have sacrificed so much for us. to be able to enjoy freedom in this country. I'm always like to remind everyone, but using my own personal story as a way to remind everyone how wonderful this country is and how we have to get used to acknowledging and saying out loud the good things that happens in this country. I know sometimes we go into the criticism, and that's a freedom that we have thanks to the sacrifice of our veterans. We're able to criticize this country. This is a freedom that people in other countries don't have. But my story is only possible, I believe, in this country. I don't think it could happen in any other place. And it's thanks to the sacrifices of our veterans. I want to thank also Pro Tem Pichardo, because you're also a veteran. Thank you for your service. And thank you for the sacrifices that you made that give us the opportunity to live with freedom and peace. We're able to go to bed and feel secure. And as we see the news, what happened in other places, this is a reminder not to take it for granted. The work that I do as Lieutenant Governor, one of the things that I feel the most satisfaction is my work with the military family. And in working with the militaries and the military families, especially the Operation Holiday Cheers. And that's why I wanted also to be here to remind everybody that Operation Holiday Cheers is happening this weekend. So if you still have time, if you want to send items that we can put in the boxes to send to every service member that is stationed outside of Rhode Island, so they can receive a little bit of love, a box of love from Rhode Island. We're looking for actually right now granola bars. So if anybody wants to donate granola bars to put in the boxes, sunflower seeds. We also take candies, but not chocolate, please, because they don't travel well, right? Jolene knows that. It doesn't travel well. And also, we want to make sure that if you're able to donate any items, please, you can bring them to the National Guard on Saturday, is when we're going to be collecting it, so we can pack everything and send it. And that's thanks to the work that the Blue Star families has been doing. The Blue Star mothers are the ones that took the initiative together with Lieutenant Governor Charlie Fogarty to start this Operation Holiday Cheers, to send a little bit of love to our military members from Rhode Island. So there's so many more work that we do with the military. So if you want to get involved, especially I want the people in Providence to get more connected and more involved with the work that we do with the military. So please, there is the resources for families. When people get deployed, when the service members are deployed, we have a fund to help families pay for the car loans, if they need to pay for the car, if they need to pay for the mortgage. There's so many ways how you can say thank you to our militaries for the work that they do. So please reach out to my office, and thank you so much for having me here. Thanks.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Really appreciate your words and your support for the veterans and those who are serving. I personally now have my son serving in the Air Force active duty, and many of our family members and friends. That's why it's so important for our city council not only fight for local issues, but also understand that parents are left home, with a heavy heart, because they're praying every day, and especially during these difficult times that we're facing many challenges around the world. With that said, I would like to call our next guest, who has a long and credential and military career. He has served nearly 15 years with the Rhode Island Army National Guard, where he is presently served as a commander of the 88th unit. And his past experience includes state judge advocate, command judge advocate, the trial defense counsel, trial counsel, the legal assistant attorney with the Guard, and also has served with the Office of Veterans Affairs as a strategic planning, communication, and policy administrator. As a deputy director and serving under Major General Christopher Callahan as the adjutant general, he's responsible for technical units and tactical training, you name it, and also empowering the leadership of the current and future leaders of the current National Guard, but also those who serve in the state of Rhode Island. With that said, I would like to call and please welcome Michael Jolin, Deputy Director of the Rhode Island National Guard.
Good evening. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Councilman, Master Sergeant, retired. So the Lieutenant Governor mentioned a couple of things that are very much worthy enterprises that her office has been engaged in. I don't know if people realize there's, over the past, I don't know how many years, but well over 12, 15 years, the Military Family Relief Fund has given out over $50,000 to service members in need. And I serve on the board that approves that, and we actually have a very robust process to make sure that the money is going to those who really need it. And unfortunately, people really need it. So thank you, Governor, for your leadership with that. I actually received one of those boxes from Operation Holiday Cheer during my year in Afghanistan. A couple of copies of the Providence Journal, some coffee syrup, some Dell's powdered mix, some socks, and some other things. So thank you again for that. So I'm here on behalf of General Callahan, who has a meeting this evening, so he wasn't able to be here. This is a busy time of year for us around Veterans Day. The Guard tries to support as many events as we can because so many of us have served. We've served in Iraq and Afghanistan and other places around the world. We have over 300 deployed right now to Kosovo. We have members of the Airlift Wing, the 143rd from our Air National Guard. They're about to do some missions overseas related to some of the stuff that's going on now. So it's a very real thing for us. So I appreciate this body taking the time to get together to thank and to honor those who have worn the uniform. And I said it was busy, and I don't mind that because I think events like this are important. I've been in the military almost 20 years now, and even to this day, I still get thanked for my service. If I'm pumping gas at Cumberland Farms or at a restaurant having some breakfast, people come up to me when I'm in uniform, and say those kind words. And it really matters. It really does. Knowing that people at home, at least, support those who are actually, doing the work. So, with that said, I just want to emphasize that ceremonies like this show to us that service is meaningful, that sacrifice is not going unnoticed. That we have this shared history together as Americans, and we can actually honor that here in ceremonies like this. So, on behalf of the Adjutant General and my fellow soldiers and airmen of the Rhode Island National Guard, I just want to thank you for what you do for us. I'm excited about this commission. I used to work for Director Yarn, and so I know there's a lot of stuff that can be done for veterans, and I'm glad that you guys are on it. So again, thank you, and I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much for those words. At this time, as he shares from the highest command of the state Rhode Island Guard, now we're going to hear from another very experienced veteran, and this is someone that I've gotten to know over the years. I served with him in the General Assembly, but also he has his own story and very, very proud of the service that he has commanded. While we were in different chambers, John and I served together at the Rhode Island State House, where he was 3-term state representative and former Republican whip from Tiverton. and a congressional candidate a few years back. What you might not know is that John Laughlin is a career Army reservist, a combat helicopter pilot who was mobilized on, for tours. And in both Bosnia, Iraq, and retired from the reserves as a lieutenant colonel. John is the public affairs officer for the VA Providence healthcare system in the city of Providence and throughout the state. So congratulations, and our veterans deserve a voice like yours. He serves countless veterans from multiple states in the region. Please welcome John Laughlin. Thank you.
Well, that was quite an introduction. I was a helicopter pilot, and I will tell you, when people say thank you for your service, it embarrasses me. Can you imagine being 25 years old, given a $5 million helicopter and a government credit card, and being told, go fly? It doesn't get better than that. And so when people say thank you for your service, sometimes I'll come back with the witty retort, thank you for paying your taxes, because the honor was solely mine. Director Connell was going to be here with us tonight, but he's actually up in Boston right now. The Providence VA healthcare system is part of what they call Vision 1. And Vision 1 is the 8 New England states, and they get the directors of all of the medical centers together to do periodic meetings. So he's up in Boston, couldn't be here, so he sent a consolation prize. So I'm happy to be here. I'm glad that I was able to get here. I don't know how much you know about the VA Providence healthcare system. I mean, everybody drives by the building on Chalkstone. How many people have seen the building on Chalkstone, the giant VA hospital? And you say, what the heck is that? What is that all about? Well, VA Providence actually covers all of Rhode Island, a little tiny sliver of Connecticut, and southeastern Mass all the way out to Hyannis. And we also cover the Cape and the islands. And sometimes in summertime, I have the very unfortunate task of having to go to Martha's Vineyard to meet with the folks out there on the government dime. Somebody's got to do it, right? So we've got a fairly large catchment area. At the main hospital, we've got 73 operating beds, which is considered a mid-sized hospital. We have 17 mental health beds. And in addition to the main hospital that you see, we have these things, because we love acronyms, because we're all ex-military guys, so we love acronyms. We have these things called CBOCs, which stands for Community-Based Outpatient Clinic. We have one in Middletown, Rhode Island, that's over near the Navy base. We've got one in New Bedford, Massachusetts, and we have another one out in Hyannis. So we've got the 3 CBOCs as well. We service about 52,000 veterans at the Veterans Hospital in our healthcare system. And we've got about 1,500 full-time equivalent employees. On a typical day, just kind of give you a day in the life, right? We'll see 1,500 patients in one day. 230 primary care, 600 specialty care, 400 mental health, 75 emergency room visits, and 5 or so surgical. We're what's called a level C hospital. So we don't do open heart surgery. We don't do, we can do minor surgery, but we don't do the really big stuff. But our veterans that we serve, we transport them to Boston to take care of that, because Boston is a level A, so they're able to do that. Interesting thing, too, we're big into surveys. We survey everybody when they come in. We survey our veterans. We ask them, well, what was the service like? How did you think? We have, I just got this today, as a matter of fact, 95.8% satisfaction rate. Find that with a rental car company or an airline or a hotel. The most important thing you can take away, and I kind of direct these comments towards the members of your commission, is it's very important for veterans to enroll in VA healthcare. We really want to get our arms around our veterans. And so if you know them, if you know a veteran, ask them, hey, are you enrolled in VA healthcare? You might hear somebody say, well, yeah, no, I don't want to take somebody else's spot, right? I hear that sometimes, because veterans are very altruistic that way. It doesn't work that way. The way it works in the federal government is the more veterans we have enrolled, the more services we can offer. So by not enrolling, by saying you're not going to take somebody's spot, you're literally taking somebody's spot by not increasing our size and allowing us to offer more services. Another one you hear sometimes is, well, I got good coverage from my employer, so I really don't need health care services. Interesting fun fact. VA healthcare has no effect on private insurance. In fact, you can keep your private insurance, you can keep your private doctor. I do. I've got TRICARE because I'm a retired military person, and with TRICARE, I see my TRICARE doc in the spring, and then I see my VA doc in the fall. And I finally got them talking to each other, too, which is terrific. So you're getting like double the health care. So you don't let that be an excuse. Then the other one you get sometimes, well, you know, I don't know how to enroll. I don't know where all my military records are. I don't know where all my paperwork is. We have these things nowadays, I don't know if you've heard of them, called computers. And so what we can do is if a veteran calls us and provides a full name and a social security number, we can reach into the National Record Center. We can pull their full military medical record. We can pull the DD-214, which is the piece of paper you get when you leave the military, and we can get them enrolled on the spot. It's never been easier to do. So I would just ask that if you run across veterans in your life, you run across veterans with the commission, encourage them to enroll in VA healthcare. And I'm going to leave you on one serious note. As we know, veteran suicide is a massive problem. We lose, you know, anywhere from 16 to 20 veterans every day to suicide. An interesting fact is that more than 65% of the veterans we lose to suicide are not enrolled in the VA healthcare system. So by getting those veterans enrolled, you're saving lives as well. Thank you very much, and I'll be around to answer questions if you need to.
One tidbit that I guess I didn't share was that he also has a little program, a small program, at 6:30 a.m. Talks about everything, especially the experience with veterans and many issues. So thank you for that service, and I know.
You at least tell them what time it's on.
Oh, what time?
Saturday's 11 to 2.
Saturday, 11 to 2. There you go. And he didn't mention it, so I wanted to make sure that he has. Appreciate your service, and also letting people know that the services are available for your friends and families who have served and that are veterans. And that's the key message for today for our colleagues and those who are listening to us and have friends and family. So now I wanted to present to you a young man who, he served in the U.S. Marine Corps for 6 years, continued with the active duty and reserve. He'll tell his story, but I would just say that he had multiple deployments in our country, in Iraq, in 2008, and in Afghanistan. Retiring as a rank of E4 corporal. So it's serving. It takes a toll on the body and the mind and so forth. So I would like for all of us to give him a nice welcome to Corporal Travis Gensel. There you go. Yeah. As he shares his personal story as a veteran while serving, and also getting some services here and encouraging more of the men and women who have served in our military and who are here in Rhode Island. I also want to just quickly say hi to our friend and veteran from the American Legion, Ken Reese here, who joined us, so thank you. At this time, I would like to call our retired Travis Gensel. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I don't know where to begin. So when I was 17, I joined the Marine Corps. My mother had to sign the papers, and she was more than happy to do it to get rid of me. I joined because I wasn't going anywhere in life. I was getting into a lot of trouble. So I joined thinking I was going to be a reservist, but it didn't play out that way. Within a month of being at my unit, I got told, get ready, you're going to Iraq. So I did that. I was there for about a year, came home, did 6 months of recruiter's assistance, went back to reserve duty for a year, then got told, pack it up, you're going to Afghanistan. So it is what it is, but what's more important is what happened when I got home. I'd like to say that I went on to do great things, but that wasn't the case. So when I first came home, alcohol was everything to me. I couldn't go a day without it. I sit here today, and I don't know how I don't know how I am where I am today, really, because I was that guy, that was once I guess a normal person, if that's what you want to call it, to being that guy sitting in a jail cell. That's just the truth. So I wanted to say no, coming here to speak tonight, because I can't stand speaking in front of people, but I think it's important because we need to continue to help the guys, sleeping in the dumpster or whatever the case may be. I used to be ashamed of my past, but I'm not anymore. I overdosed 12 times. I literally died 12 times. So I guess the reason I'm here tonight is because I want to do what I can do to help. And by saying no, I'm not interested, no thank you. I feel like that wouldn't be doing the right thing, and it would quite honestly be pretty selfish. So I was told to keep it around 3 or 4 minutes. I don't know how much time has passed, but thank you for having me tonight, and I want to continue to help, and anything I can do to help, I'm all for it. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing and saying yes. You helped all of us. Today, I know that everyone is walking out of here with a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of inspiration to do what's right while we're walking and driving through our neighborhoods and our city, because during these upcoming seasons, it's a tough one. The economy is really hard on many people in our communities, and we have to be mindful of the services that we're providing to our community, especially the veterans. I know that when in the General Assembly, we tackled at a certain time the housing crisis for especially veterans and their families. Thank goodness for the federal help that we received, and not too many veterans are homeless, but they continue to be homeless. And so we got to continue to outreach. And so your story is impactful, and thank you very much. I certainly appreciate it. Today, as we conclude the program, I wear my purple tie. And why? Because when I served with the security forces, oftentimes we would join up with the Marines. We went to a joint school together, and there were Marines and Army. And at that time, our sergeants would say, today we're purple. It's a unit that comes together for a mission. And so today the symbol that I wear, my tie, is purple. We as a city councilman, we come together here to do the business of the people. And the part of the veterans are the people. And we must never forget. So I thank you, all of you, for your support. And to the commission, we have a lot of work to do. I know that I've said to bring pride into Providence as the veterans, that hopefully one day we could have our own parade down some streets in the city of Providence. With that said, I wanted to thank everyone, Caleb for doing some extra work. This is, what's the name of the, Ken Doyle? Doyen. Thank you for your service, and also Jason Rose, 1st Rhode Island Regiment. And obviously also to our Providence Police Honor Guard, Jose the Champs and San Lucas, who I went to school with and served also in the Marines. Right? Was it Marines? Yes, sir. Both Marine and Army. So we have them all around us, families and friends. So just ask. Soldiers and veterans, we are proud, and we don't talk about our experiences. And like John has indicated, when people say thank you for your service, all we could say is thank you for your support. Thank you for your support. And I thank you for being here today. And this concludes our program. Please join us for some food, and also the great display that is out there from early World War I, World War II, and Caleb and the archivist really put this together for the next couple of weeks. Is going to be here. I want to thank the staff for really putting this together and helping all of us, especially Parker Gavigan, Samantha Burnett, Huáscar Beato, and Melissa Cruz, and Caleb Horton for your works. So thank you very much. At this time, please, yes, let's stand up and our colors, if you can, what's the word to get the colors out? Anybody remember? Retire the colors. Thank you, and have a good night. Please stay around and enjoy the dinner. All right, thank you.